Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering Fani Willis disaster. Multiple leaks prove staff want her fired. Breitbart has one day after another incredible exclusive leaks from Fani Willis's office. Absolutely, several people at her office have gotten together and decided they will leak this. They will leak it just to Breitbart, and apparently they're leaking things every day to undermine her credibility and get her thrown out of the office. Here's the first article from Breitbart. Exclusive: Nathan Wade led Fani Willis 2020 transition into office. So when she was elected, Nathan Wade was right there by her side. And he wasn't there just as a friend or as a boyfriend. He was somehow put in charge of making the decisions to hire or fire employees in the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. He wasn't on the ticket. He shouldn't have been doing that. He wasn't employed to do that. He was just there somehow doing that. And wait until you see what they put people through to allow them to be in that office. What they did to the employees was cruel and unusual. First, they told everyone, look, you're all fired. You need to do what we say you need to do and interview to get your job back or to be with the office. Also from Breitbart. Exclusive: Biden administration planted operative Jeff DeSantis in Fani Willis's office to target Trump, according to sources. And again from Breitbart. Exclusive: former employees reveal Fani Willis's extreme DEI training, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They forced employees to associate white with bad. Judges were ranked on their skin color. This is no way to run an office. From Breitbart. Exclusive: Nathan Wade led Fani Willis's 2020 transition team into office. Nathan Wade made the decisions to hire or fire employees in Fulton County District Attorney's Office following Fulton County prosecutor Fani Willis's election victory in November 2020. Multiple sources familiar with the Wade and Willis relationship exclusively told Breitbart. The revelation of Wade's previously unreported position as the former personal decision maker for the district attorney's office raises ethical and conflict of interest concerns. It also raises questions about whether Wade and Willis have been forthright about the timeline of their affair. Quote, Wade is a prosecutor on the Trump case and he selected the office employees, a source told Breitbart News. Wade led a transition team of 10 to 12 people who interviewed and evaluated current employees to remain in Willis's newly won office just weeks after she won the election in November, said the sources, who wished to remain anonymous for fear of retribution due to the direct knowledge of the environment inside the district attorney's office, which they characterized as corrupt. Wade, a second source told Breitbart News, was in charge of determining who of the 250 office employees would remain with Willis. Sources described one-on-one interviews behind closed doors with Willis and Wade, who was too invested to be just a friend of Willis to hold such a powerful position. And it's not only just a powerful position. Obviously, this is very time-consuming. So the real question is, who was paying Nathan Wade to do this job? Why was he spending so much of his professional time doing this? Didn't he have something else to do that he was billing someone for? Why was he there? Wade and Willis claim their relationship started in 2022. After Willis launched the probe into former President Donald Trump. But sources say Wade and Willis obviously had an ongoing romantic relationship at the time Willis won the election. There was just something so weird going on, one source said. But Willis said everyone in the office was essentially all terminated, and that essentially we had to reapply for our jobs and must submit an application and schedule a time to appear for an interview, a source said. We had to reapply and came back in so they could interview everyone, from lawyers to paralegals to assistants to investigators. Quote, and in that room, in my interview, there were a lot of people other than Fani Willis, and that was her transition team. I definitely know that Nathan Wade was in that room because he was taking the lead role, the source stated. And I was a little confused because I had never seen him before. I had about maybe 10 people in the interview, another source described the re-interview process with Wade. Nathan definitely was up, moving around and taking charge in the room. Wade hired the entire office of 250 employees, the person said. Do you have any sense of how long it takes to interview 250 people? It takes a lot of time. And then there's discussion about those people. And then there are notes that people take. There was no way he was doing that for nothing. And he wasn't doing it as a friend. People don't do favors for each other like that. You ever help someone move? Imagine that times 100. Quote, I was just telling him my employment background, and they just sit there and looked at me and they said, well, you'll get an email on our decision. And that's what Wade said. And he looked at Willis. They looked at each other. And there was just something so weird going on. The sources did not initially know who Wade was during the transition process, but they told Breitbart News they questioned why Willis would outsource the transition process to unknown actors. Quote, why was he a part of a hiring process and making the decisions as to who gets hired and fired when he wasn't even an employee or authorized to be in the room, a source questioned. After the re-interview process, Wade and Willis started eliminating anybody that was too close and in control of the office operations. The second source said, Willis, sources asserted, violated the friends and family policy by hiring friends and family and hiding it from the county with fungible state and county dollars. Quote, all the people that worked on her campaign became the inner circle, one source familiar with the inner workings of the office said. In January, Trump and co-defendant Mike Roman accused Willis of maintaining an improper romantic relationship with Wade, so Willis and Wade took the stand in February to testify about whether their relationship disqualified Willis from prosecuting Trump. If the presiding judge determines Willis engaged in an actual conflict of interest with her lover and fellow prosecutor, Willis could be removed from the case, handing former President Donald Trump a massive victory. The delay alone on reassigning the Fulton County RICO case to another prosecuting team would essentially end the case. Another prosecuting team would not automatically even decide they were going to go forward with the case, but the delay incurred would put the case at the very least much, much further than the election. Wade claimed his relationship with Willis began in 2022, 1 year after Willis opened the case against Trump in 2021. Wade's story appears shaky. Former Fulton County District Attorney employee and friend of Willis since college, Robin Yurdy, testified that Willis was definitely in a relationship with Wade since 2019. In addition, cell phone data obtained through AT&T through subpoena contradicts Wade's testimony. Quote, our relationship wasn't a secret, it was just private, Wade testified to the unusual distinction that apparently did not include disclosing their relationship to Fulton County. The Breitbart takedown continues. Exclusive Biden admin planted operative Jeff DeSantis in Fani Willis's office to target Trump, according to sources. The Biden administration planted a Democrat operative inside a Fulton County office to target former President Donald Trump. Multiple sources familiar with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office exclusively told Breitbart News. If the Biden administration planted the operative, as the sources say, it would present a strong argument that the administration interfered in the 2024 presidential election. Breitbart News granted the sources anonymity to discuss the attorney's office for fear of retribution. The sources have direct knowledge of the environment at the district attorney's office, which they characterize again as corrupt. One significant figure is overlooked in the Fulton County scandal concerning Fulton County prosecutor Fani Willis and her alleged lover and fellow prosecutor Nathan Wade, the sources said. Meet Jeff DeSantis, the county's deputy district attorney with professional experience far greater than the average county employee. DeSantis worked on Willis's 2020 campaign, sources told Breitbart News, and was the former executive director of the Democrat Party of Georgia with extensive knowledge of campaign finance law. He was also the deputy director of compliance for the DNC, according to his official bio. From his bio, Jeff has also worked for candidates in 30 states running for a variety of offices, including President of the United States Senator, Governor, United States Representative, Attorney General, District Attorney, and Mayor, as well as for a national political party committee. He has served as a campaign manager, media consultant, pollster, press spokesman, research director, and policy advisor. Sources credit DeSantis with colluding with the White House to target Trump. Quote, DeSantis did this, one source told Breitbart News about the Trump case. He's the one. He's the one pulling all the strings. He's the one that walled her off. He was in every important meeting. He's the brainchild behind this. That is the connection to the White House. Citing his deep history and connections to the Democrat Georgia machine, sources told Breitbart News they were 100% certain that DeSantis was the inside man planted in the Fulton County office by the Biden administration. DeSantis is the one pulling the strings on this whole thing, a second source said. Everyone heard Fani testify. It's no secret that she's not smart. That is how she sounds and acts every day of the week. Quote, anyone that has common sense knows that the White House has been involved in this prosecution, a source told Breitbart News. This shouldn't just miraculously happen. Of course she's not going to prosecute the former president of the United States without the current administration's approval. Sources speculated that DeSantis was instrumental in selecting grand jurors for the Trump case based on voter registration data. Part of why you're raising money as a candidate is to get money to buy the data about who are your voters. DeSantis, as the former head of the state Democratic Party, he's going to know the data in Georgia, one source said. There's not one conservative person on that grand jury. Sources also revealed that DeSantis was a member of Willis's transition team after she won the election in November 2020. DeSantis helped Wade select employees for the new office. Quote, DeSantis was there in the capacity to be a political strategist, hiding in the DA's office, a source told Breitbart News. And from Breitbart, exclusive, former employees reveal Fani Willis's extreme DEI training, forced to associate white with bad, judges ranked on skin color. I can't even believe this is legal, and I do a lot of videos about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thankfully, it's getting wiped out, but apparently not fast enough. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis subjected her employees to mandatory race training, forcing the entire office to rate black or white skin colors as either good or bad, according to training slides and a video exclusively obtained by Breitbart News. Quote, if you didn't participate in the quiz, you got fired, a source exclusively told Breitbart News about Willis's policy. Sources who shared the race training with Breitbart News wish to remain anonymous for fear of retribution due to their direct knowledge of the corrupt and hostile work environment inside the district attorney's office. Sources describe the race training as a directive straight from Willis, who injected racism into the office from the second she got hired. Willis won election in 2020 and is up for re-election this November. Dubbed an implicit bias test, a Harvard website generated the diversity, equity, and inclusion slides that made some sources feel ashamed of being white employees. Quote, Willis had some guy be lied for roughly 8 hours, a source said. He was a former member of Obama's White House. The training suggested the United States was founded on the sins of white men and the slaughter of Native Americans, one source described. I thought it was so wrong. Well, Willis pulled it off as diversity training, but it was more so an attack on the race relations thing, a source explained. One element of the training described by a source was a slide test where users had to choose to move an image of a white person to a block that said bad in order to complete the program. So you had to accept that white people are bad. It said white bad on one side and black good on the other, and an image of a person came up, and if you didn't drag it to the white bad category, the white man pops up in the middle. If you couldn't pass the test, they put an X in it and it won't let you move on. Literally pictures of white people and black people, and you need to move the picture to bad if it's a white person and good if it's a black person. Incredible. Breitbart also obtained a race training video that ranked the most racist judges as described by a source with knowledge of the training. Here's a transcript from the video. You're set to appear before a judge, but you don't know who. Your best bet would be for the judge to be black and male. Black male judges sentence black defendants 10% less time in lockup than whites, according to 12 years of criminal data compiled by court clerks. But if that black judge is Republican, that thinking shifts. No group sentenced blacks to more time compared to whites than black Republican judges. 69% more time to be exact. Black female judges are the fairest. They sentence blacks and whites to the same amount of time. But black female judges are also the harshest. They send away both blacks and whites for far longer than any other member group. But what are the odds of getting a black judge? They're not in your favor. Only 28 of the more than 450 judges who preside over serious criminal cases in Florida are black. So the judge would probably be white. If it's a white male, you can expect 20% more time in lockup than a white defendant. If it's a white female, you can expect 10% more time. Politics also come into play. Republican judges sentence blacks 21% more time in lockup than whites. Democrat judges sentence blacks up to 70% more time. The allegations of extremist training on racial issues are the latest revelation in the DA Willis scandal. It's getting obvious there are many people that are in the Fulton County District Attorney's Office that do not trust Fani Willis and see this as their opportunity to betray her, leak things out about her, and try to get her fired. And having employees leak these stories day after day to Breitbart is very damaging to her office. Within the next few days to the next few weeks, we'll see if she's pulled off the Trump case altogether as Judge McAfee makes his decision on whether or not she and or Nathan Wade need to be disqualified. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.